First of all, the pages in this screenplay are black with text. I'm talking about a lot of words. It's 101 pages, which is a pretty small screenplay for a drama. Compare that with Anora's 137 pages, but here's the catch. Waves has 5,000 more words than Anora and 36 fewer pages. So how in the world did he do that? He did it with these gigantic blocks of text. Look at this page. On page 92, you can see he has 9 lines in this paragraph, followed by 10 lines in this paragraph. It's like this throughout the screenplay. And look at page 28. I mean, this reads like a novella. I mean, our eyes are most certainly going horizontal and not vertical when we look at the screenplay here. But that's not the only way he saves 36 pages, theoretically. Also, it's these dual dialogue columns. And this is what is so interesting and unique about this screenplay. He's done something here that I don't know I've seen before, at least not on this scale. 58% of all his dialogue in the screenplay consists of 2 dialogue columns. Not because people are talking over each other or talking at the same time. He's doing it so that the eyes go left to right on the page, down the page as 2 people communicate in a conversation. In other words, he's structuring the dialogue horizontally like you would read a novel, how you would read prose rather than going down the page. It takes a shift when you're reading the screenplay, but it works. It does work. We can get a good example of that here on page 12, where you can see the whole family's at the table and no one's talking over each other. Start with Emily there. She says, "You're such a hypocrite. You're not even going." Then Tyler says, "It's fine. It really doesn't matter." Catherine says, and this might be the one time where she jumps in, but she's not really talking over him. In fact, it's on the next line, so it's irrelevant. She says, "It doesn't matter, Emily. Your practice never goes that late." Then Emily says, "Yeah, but I need to study." And then Catherine here, I guess he puts this one in the middle, which I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because she's talking to everyone. But then back to Emily, then to Catherine, then Emily and Tyler. And you can see that there's different characters in each column too. It's not like one column is reserved for one person. So it is a different way of doing it. And I'm sure it saved him tons of pages. I'm not sure why he wanted the screenplay to be 101 pages, or if he even cared. This screenplay is in itself a work of art, which I could tell is very important to him. And this may be a way he's showing his flair, his style. Text messages in the screenplay. This is something that all screenwriters grapple with, trying to figure out the best way to format text messages. There are a dozen or more different ways that I've seen in screenplay. Some work better than others. But in this screenplay, he has a unique way of doing it. And a story like this, with the main characters being teenagers, it has loads of text messages, as you could imagine. He uses the 2-column style approach, again, just like with the dialogue. Check out page 20 here. You've got Alexis and Tyler texting each other back and forth. And because we've now been trained by him in this screenplay to read left to right, it's easy to see how these text messages are connected. Alexis says, "I'm getting worried." Then Tyler says, "Why? What's up?" She says, "I'm late." He says, "For what?" She says, "My period." He says, "What?" So you can see it there going back and forth, rather than down the page. And it takes away a lot of white space on the page, but overall it reduces the number of pages in the screenplay. To give you a better look at it, you could check out page 40 and 41, where it's 2 pages of nothing but text messages. It's a long conversation, and it shows how it goes back and forth. And there are a couple of action lines thrown in there. So to let you know that Tyler's frustration is building and that he's pacing, he's getting upset. So it's good screenwriting and a very interesting way to show how to use text messages in your script. Oh, but did we speak too soon? Because he does actually use white space, but he uses it for dramatic effect. At the height of the tragedy here on page 50, you could see we get some white space. This is when Trey and Alexis are having their confrontation. It says her head plunges to the floor, space, 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 space. Looks like about 5 spaces. Then we get the boom. Then we get another double space. So he's using it for dramatic effect. And it really stands out given the fact that most of the screenplay is just ink. And like a frugal person who's been saving and saving and saving to buy this luxury item that they just have to have, Shults has been saving his white space for the break between Act 1 and Act 2, and he piles it in here. Check out page 54. This is the end when the story switches from one main character to the other, which we'll talk about. That's so interesting. Tons of white space to block it off. And then even going on to page 55 at the beginning of Act 2, just for good measure, gives us a little more white space. And then we get into the story, close up on Emily's face. And now we have a new main character.